Plan ahead for changing weather and road conditions with an hour-by-hour forecast.
Plus alternate routes around current trouble spots and the roads to avoid that day.
Channel 9 Eyewitness News this morning. Tomorrow starting at 4:30 a.m.
Next at noon, as Florida's gas tax holiday comes to an end, a look at the future prices at the pump, plus what local law enforcement is doing to keep your children safe this Halloween. Next at noon on Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
This is Eyewitness News at noon. Coverage you can count on.
Right now at noon today is the last day of Florida's month-long gas tax holiday, but have we actually been saving money this month? Good afternoon, I'm Kirsten Delgado. Right now, the average price in Florida is $3.28 for a gallon of regular. But as Channel 9's Q McCray reports, prices have actually been fairly high for most of the month. He's at a gas station for us this afternoon in Orange County with a breakdown. Well, the weather is more of a trick today than it is a treat. Certified meteorologist Rusty McCraney is joining us now. Rusty, parents should take some water along with those kiddos going trick-or-treating tonight.
Yeah, look, it's going to be on the warmer side, Kirsten. I mean, thankfully, we're not talking about a lot of rain. That would really be the trick on this Halloween. Just going to be a little bit on the humid side. So, again, the kids, the heavier costumes. It's Central Florida this time of the year. It happens. But, again, we're looking okay overall. It's 82 degrees already, which is about where we should be for a daytime high. So temperatures are climbing here on this lunch hour of Halloween. 81 in the Villages and DeLand, 79 in Daytona Beach, Melbourne and Palm Bay up to 82. Early warning down to the 9. We've got a few showers mainly off the coast. We've had a couple of sprinkles work their way inland, but overall right now, those light showers are staying offshore. As the winds turn a little bit more easterly, we're going to see at least a few showers into the forecast, but there's still going to be many dry hours and locations on this Halloween evening. So it's a warm one with just a 20% chance for rain. As we get into those trick-or-treat hours around 6 o'clock, temperatures will still be in the lower 80s, then the upper 70s as we head towards 8 p.m. So again, staying warm overnight. We'll get some patchy fog to develop as well. Coming up, I want to track that, and we do have a tropical storm in the Caribbean. It's not going to be a threat to Central Florida, but we'll have the latest on the newly formed tropical storm Lisa coming up. Kirsten.
Rusty, thank you. New this afternoon, a nearby car break-in sent Wekiva High School into lockdown this morning. Deputies say the crime was unrelated to the school and campus was put on lockdown as a precaution. It was lifted just a short time later. Today, the Supreme Court takes up two landmark cases challenging policies regarding affirmative action admissions to colleges and universities. The practice is increasing diversity on college campuses and has been doing so as a standard really for the last 40 years. A conservative and multiracial coalition of 22,000 students and parents argue it's actually leading to discrimination. ABC's Justin Finch reports from Washington. We're still waiting to hear from deputies about the shooter who hurt 6 people at a nightclub over the weekend. The incident happened near South Orange Blossom Trail and Sand Lake Road at the Toxic Lounge early Saturday morning. Deputies say people were at that club to see a Puerto Rican rapper perform. Investigators believe someone opened fire from the road into the lounge. The youngest person hurt there is 17 years old. Well, Halloween got off to a busy start over the weekend. Last night in downtown Orlando, people gathered to celebrate. Channel 9's Sabrina Majore is downtown for us, where law enforcement says they're stepping up their presence there tonight. Rainforest Cafe is giving kids a treat today. Anyone 10 and under dressed in their favorite costumes can eat for only 99 cents. However, this is only good with the purchase of an adult meal. This deal is only happening today starting at 5 at both locations in Disney World. And kid-friendly Halloween events are happening across Central Florida. Today, Old Town in Kissimmee is hosting a free trick-or-treat event. In Flagler, the sheriff's office there will have a drive-through trunk-or-treat event. And in Ocala, residents can attend the city's annual Boo Bash at the Kroski Recreation Center. That starts at 5:30. More than a month after Hurricane Ian, FEMA is looking for help in the recovery process. Coming up, the open positions being offered and how you can get hired. Plus, Election Day is almost 1 week away. Next, the key takeaways coming from last night's debate in Georgia and the top issues driving voters to the polls.
Friends, it's going to be a warm Halloween afternoon across Central Florida, but will trick-or-treat hours remain dry? I'll have the latest on that and the tropics on the other side of the break.
Sky Witness 9 on Channel 9 Eyewitness News, bringing you closer to the scene during breaking news. Brought to you by attorney Dan Newlin.
The midterm elections are just 8 days away, and nationally, so much focus is on Georgia. It's a critical battleground state, and as ABC's Steve Osunsami reports, last night the candidates for governor clashed in their final high-stakes debate. Well, today the U.S. government is scheduled to give Congress its very first unclassified report on unexplained aerial phenomena. That's the new official term for UFOs. Last year, the government recorded 144 incidents. Only one could be explained. A U.S. official says most recent sightings are a mix of weather balloons, airborne clutter, and foreign surveillance, but others just remain a mystery.
But just because we're not able to explain it doesn't mean it's aliens. But on the other hand, you have to keep an open mind about what might have caused these phenomena that people have seen.
Government officials say many of the strange movements seen by pilots are actually nothing more than faulty readings caused by sensors aboard the plane. You ever look at radar, Rusty, and go, doesn't look right?
Well, if I see something going that fast on early warning Doppler 9, I know we got an issue. I'll put it to you that way. Luckily, right now, it's pretty quiet out there, Kirsten. Look, you know, it's going to be a little bit warm. There's going to be a little bit of rain, but overall for this Halloween, at least we're just not talking about a deluge or something that's going to run the kids inside.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hot, so maybe the parents should take some water along with all that candy.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea because it will be staying muggy overnight. We'll get you outside right now to a gorgeous Halloween lunch hour here at Port Canaveral. Looking beautiful there. You can see the clouds in the distance. We've had a couple of stray showers, mainly along the coastal waters, but the easterly wind will eventually pull in a little bit of a wind, and that's going to drive some moisture inland to allow a few showers to develop a little bit later on this Halloween and into the trick-or-treat hours as well. But again, temperatures are on the warmer side. It's nothing outrageous, but we should be in the lower 80s for daytime highs here to wrap up October, and that's where we already are at lunch. So we're going to be about 3, 4, 5 degrees warmer than normal for the afternoon hours. There's your easterly onshore breeze, but inland right now it's fairly light and variable conditions. So again, a few sprinkles coming up the coast right now, nothing outrageous. Now to the tropics, that wave that we've been following that became a potential tropical cyclone over the weekend is now Tropical Storm Lisa. It's here in the Caribbean, just south of Jamaica. It's moving west. Winds are 40 miles an hour. And again, this is not going to be a storm that impacts Central Florida, although it could become a hurricane before it makes landfall in Belize or far southern Mexico, maybe as a Cat 1 hurricane late on Wednesday. So we'll monitor that situation for us here. But again, don't expect it to be a big issue for Central Florida, staying far away. Your 7-day forecast with the weekend always in view. Upper 80s for daytime highs through Wednesday. That next front coming in will knock our temperatures down a few degrees, but it's not a powerful fall front. We'll be back to the 84-degree mark on Friday and Saturday. I do expect more fog overnight. Could that impact the morning drive? For your Tuesday, we'll get that coming up in the next half hour. Kirsten.
Rusty, thank you. An investigation is now underway after a video displayed a hurtful message to Jewish people. Coming up, what one Florida Jewish community is now doing to address the issue. Plus, new details this afternoon about the attack on Nancy Pelosi's husband.
Doppler 9 radar is driven by Toyota of Orlando and Toyota of Claremont.
Authorities are expected to file charges today against the alleged suspect who broke into House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's home and attacked her husband. As ABC's Elizabeth Schulze reports, the incident is shedding light on growing violent threats against members of Congress. A shocking message projected on a Florida high-rise and stadium is sparking new concerns about displays of anti-Semitism across the region. As thousands of people visited Jacksonville over the weekend for the Florida-Georgia game, a video message saying Kanye is right about the Jews was displayed in multiple public spaces. It references a tweet from rapper Ye saying he was going to go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. Florida Jewish communities are now taking action.
We are going to be implementing a community security initiative.
The CEO of the Jewish Federation and Foundation of Northeast Florida says they're working to protect the entire Northeast Jewish community from anti-Semitism. Well, the Fed is planning yet another interest rate hike. But coming up, why consumer savings might not slow spending. And we're 8 days away from Election Day. How both parties are now pulling out all the stops, making sure major appearances happen in Florida.
This Tower Cam shot is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, who believe everyone should have access to a good lawyer. Watch Eyewitness News from any device with Eyewitness News Livestream, presented by Bogan Munz & Munz. Choose experience. Choose Bogan Munz & Munz.
12:30 on the dot, and it's shaping up to be a beautiful Halloween. This is a live look over downtown Orlando, and certified meteorologist Rusty McCraney is tracking the latest from Severe Weather Center 9 for all those trick-or-treaters out there.
Yeah, I know it's always an important forecast for us, Kirsten. And again, it's going to be on the warmer side, with at least a few showers developing. There'll be many dry hours and locations, so I don't want to overstate the rain I expect, but just a couple that'll be shaking out a little bit later. It's 82 degrees in Orlando right now. Friends, the normal high on Halloween is actually 81, so we're already above that. And of course, another big factor in our trick-or-treating is your sunset, which comes your way at 6:41. Now, after sunset, you get a couple different twilights. We have civil twilight until 7:05, then what we call astrological twilight until about 7:33. But the bottom line is by 7:30, you should expect it to be fully dark outside. But again, sometimes with the bugs like to come out, especially on a warm, somewhat humid evening ahead, with temperatures again already in the lower 80s. We have just a couple of sprinkles outside right now, a few of them in northern sides of Brevard County, but the easterly wind will pull in some of that moisture. So I'm going to call for a 20% chance of rain during the trick-or-treat hours. Lower 80s at 6 o'clock, and then the upper 70s by 8 p.m. So not a big drop off in temperatures. Coming up, I'll show you feature track. We'll look at a few showers and some fog developing overnight as well. Kirsten.
Rusty, thank you. We're just about a week away from the November election, and the candidates are now putting in overtime. This week, President Joe Biden is scheduled to be in Florida for the Democratic Party. He'll be in Miami Gardens tomorrow at Florida Memorial University, rallying for former Governor Charlie Crist. Of course, Crist is looking to defeat Republican incumbent Ron DeSantis in the race for governor. Meantime, U.S. Congresswoman Val Demings is hoping to unseat Republican Senator Marco Rubio. Also in Miami, Senator Rubio is planning to attend a rally with former President Donald Trump. Now, at this point, Governor Ron DeSantis is not scheduled to be there. Political experts say the governor is seen as Trump's most credible presidential challenger in 2024 if they both choose to run. And remember, this is the last week to get your vote in early. Early voting ends on Saturday in Lake, Volusia, Brevard, Marion, Sumter, and Flagler counties, but people in Orange, Seminole, and Osceola, they have one extra day to vote on Sunday. If you're voting by mail, your ballot needs to be returned by 7 p.m. on Election Day. But before you submit your ballot, check out our WFTV Voters Guide. It has information on what you'll be voting for, as well as polling locations, the rules in the voting booth, and so much more. Just look for the banner on our homepage, WFTV.com. Parkland school shooter Nicholas Cruz is expected to officially be sentenced this week, but not before the victims' families have their say. All of the jurors did not agree on the death penalty for Cruz, so he was sentenced to life in prison. But the judge still has to do that formally tomorrow, but not before victim impact statements are given. This is the only chance the families will have to speak to Cruz directly. This afternoon, we're learning more about the tragedy out of South Korea, where more than 150 people were killed. Sources now say those people were crushed to death in a narrow alleyway. At least 2 Americans are among the dead. And as ABC's Irina Roy reports, there are growing questions about how all of this happened. This week, the Federal Reserve is expected to raise interest rates once again in hopes of slowing down inflation. But experts tell the Wall Street Journal American households are still sitting on nearly $2 trillion in savings accumulated through the pandemic. And all that buying power could keep prices high. Meanwhile, wages across the country are going up. The Labor Department says its employment cost index, which combines pay and benefits, rose 5% in the third quarter compared to a year ago. And we're learning more about the several companies and what they're paying their employees. New York City employers are starting to comply with a new law taking effect this week that requires most job listings to include a pay range. The goal here is to help close gender pay gaps. Well, people in Brevard County could see test runs of one of Brightline's trains starting tomorrow. This is all part of the Orlando extension from Miami. Brevard drivers will see flaggers tomorrow at 18 railroad crossings from Sharps through Cocoa and Rockledge. The test train will reach up to 79 miles per hour, and testing at 110 miles per hour may begin in Brevard in January. As Breast Cancer Awareness Month comes to a close, new data shows the demographic of women who are at most risk. Plus, who health officials say is being impacted most by this flu season.
At 11, we slow things down, digging into the day's big story with context, analysis, and a deep dive into how it will impact you. Find out why more Central Floridians choose WFTV tonight than any other late-night newscast. Live tonight, only on Channel 9.
SpaceX crews at the Kennedy Space Center are counting down to the launch of a Falcon Heavy rocket. The National Security Mission will put several satellites into orbit for the U.S. Space Force, and this will be the first Falcon Heavy launch from KSC since June of 2019. Liftoff is scheduled for tomorrow morning at 9:40. When it happens, you can watch it live here on Channel 9 and on WFTV.com. Hopefully some good weather tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. Look, 90% of favorable weather. Remember, a Falcon Heavy is basically 3 Falcon 9s that are strapped together. So you have 3 boosters that'll be coming back trying to land, one on a drone ship, 2 at the Space Force station there. So it's a really neat experience. The noise is punishing. I was out there for the first Falcon Heavy ever, and just the noise, it will remind you of a space shuttle if you're going.
There you go.
And the weather looks great. Obviously, a big forecast for tonight, the trick-or-treat forecast. Favorite Halloween candy?
Ooh, Snickers.
Yeah, it's not a bad one. I'll say candy corn. I don't really mean it. I don't really mean it.
You want to be controversial, don't you?
No, my wife hates candy corn so much. That was for her.
Oh, we're big fans of Fun Dip. We discussed this one.
Yeah, that's a good one. You know, Sour Patch Kids, or, you know, give me something, you know, kind of sugary. I'll take that. 82 degrees outside for you right now. Again, it is a warm Halloween across Central Florida. Sunset coming your way at 6:41. I expect it to be completely dark across Central Florida by 7:30. But remember, sometimes this time of the year when it's warm and muggy outside, that's when the mosquitoes like to come out. So you might want to think about those earlier hours. Although, again, it is going to be fairly warm. Look, 81 is a normal high in Orlando for October 31st, and we're already up to 82. Same thing in Sanford, 83 in DeLand. Winds are fairly light and variable, beginning to push an onshore breeze right along the immediate coastline. And again, we have a few spotty showers that have basically been riding along the coast. A little bit of sprinkle activity in inland Volusia County. It's really not much as of now. Feature track will pull in that easterly breeze and try and develop a few widely scattered light showers across I-4 during the late afternoon and early evening. Look, there's a bit of a wind convergence right here, and that could promote some of the rain. I'm not overly aggressive with the rain. I expect about a 20% chance. Again, if you're one of those families who pulls one of those big carts with you, just throw the umbrella there. Also, make sure you have the water as well. You're going to want to hydrate if the kids are having kind of a heavier costume. It is going to be pretty warm and muggy during the trick-or-treat hours. But again, I can't tell you it's going to be completely dry in Volusia, Seminole, Orange, Osceola counties. Coastline should be dry. But again, there will be some rain across I-4 that won't wind down until, let's say, just after trick-or-treat hours. So again, the forecast calls for a 20% chance for showers, 82 at 6, and then 78 by 8 p.m. I hope you have a great, fun, safe evening. 87 is the high in Orlando for today, 86 in Sanford, 82 on Palm Coast. We'll see a little bit of fog developing during the overnight hours, so watch out for that. Brian will be watching that for the morning drive. We had some patchy, dense fog this morning. I expect that to be a possibility for tomorrow as well. Looking at the tropics again, that potential tropical cyclone in the Caribbean has become Lisa. Tropical storm Lisa, it is moving to the west, forecast to become a hurricane before it makes landfall in Belize, just south of Mexico. But again, that is not a concern for us here in Central Florida, but we always watch the tropics for you. Your 7-day forecast with the weekend always in view. A couple of scattered showers possible tomorrow and Wednesday as well. And temperatures actually remaining above normal the next 7 days. Kirsten.
Rusty, thank you. It was an underwater adventure for some scuba divers in the Florida Keys. Coming up, what the winner got after competing in this underwater pumpkin carving contest.
Tonight's primetime lineup on WFTV is brought to you by your local Southeast Toyota dealers.
Here's a look at some of the stories we're working on for Eyewitness News at 4. Police say a man is being held in jail without bond following a fatal shooting in Winter Garden. Police say they found Jermaine Moultrie shot inside of a home on Saturday. He later died at a hospital. And police say the suspect, Jereel Lightbourne, later turned himself in. We're now asking investigators if they know what led up to that shooting. Plus, a general election is next week, but only 17% of Seminole County's registered voters have actually cast their ballot. We're now checking in with other local counties for Eyewitness News at 4. Stocks are down on Wall Street this afternoon. Here's a look at the numbers for you right now. We'll have those closing figures for you later today on Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 4.
Stocks are brought to you by the personal injury firm of Todd Minor Law.
The Florida Keys held its annual pumpkin carving contest over the weekend. The underwater contest featured 18 scuba divers who carved their jack-o'-lanterns. The contest takes place 25 feet below the surface. The winners got a free dive trip for two. Two cool things here. Number one, cool. Because in the Florida Keys, you can probably see straight down through those 25 feet because the water's so clear.
Yep.
Two, fun fact about me, I just, for the first time this year, carved my first pumpkin.
What?
I didn't grow up doing it. We weren't Halloween people.
You're going to have to give us more on that story when we have time. For now, though, I want to say, well, the trick-or-treat forecast, again, it's going to be somewhat warm with a few showers. Not outrageously bad, guys. Hydrate, maybe have an umbrella if you're pulling one of those cards, but please have a safe and fun Halloween evening. We wish you the best.
Thank you for joining us. And GMA 3, what you need to know is coming up next.
This Time and Temperature is brought to you by Toyota of Orlando, Toyota of Claremont.